Okay,
So,
start your lecture and demonstration. Timing begins now.
okay, so today we are going to be doing a chemical exfoliant on our client. Our lady's name is Michelle. She will be coming in. We want to make sure that everything that we do, we keep sanitation and disinfection first, always, because you never want to harm your clients. The last thing that you want to do is send something home that someone else had to someone else. So we want to make sure that we do everything that is needed to stop any type of infection or anything from leaving with them or going with them or causing any type of infection. So we're going to do the chemical exfoliant. You always want to make sure that you sanitize. You cannot sanitize or wash your hands enough when dealing with the clients. You want to always make sure that everything is nice and clean. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my chemical exfoliant out. This chemical exfoliant is what's going to actually help to get that, it's going to help exfoliate that skin and get that dead skin out of there. Now these bags down here, this is a single-use bag and a multi-use bag. The single-use bags are for one-time use only for some things that are disposable. The things that you can only use one time, like the wipes and cotton rounds and everything that I'm going to be using. I'm going to put that into the single-use bag because we can't use those anymore. The last thing we want to do is use that on somebody else's face after we use it on a different client. Now the multi-use bag, that's where the things that like this right here had my chemical exfoliant in it. The reason that I have my chemical exfoliant in this with the top on it is because it stops the germs from spreading. So, and then it's nice and clean, and it's gonna stop any pathogens or anything from getting on there. You wanna always make sure that you have everything covered up, your implements and everything, your cotton rounds, all that stuff has to be covered up so that the environment does not infect it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and drop this back into my multi-use bag because I got my chemical exfoliant out. And we're only preparing for the client, so that is what we're doing at this point. This right here is my disinfectant implements. So anything that's already cleaned and ready to go that I'm going to use on my clients, this is what this is going to be in. You always want to make sure that you have that top on there, like I said before, so that outside pathogens do not get in there and contaminate what you're going to be using on your clients. This particular is going to be for after I once I get done with my client, I am going to need to clean and disinfect the instruments that I use on my clients. So what we're going to do here is we're going to put the barbicide in here, and we're going to have to make sure that those implements are actually covered for the amount of contact time that the barbicide actually says. So we're going to go ahead and do that now, just to show you all how to make sure that you always use your manufacturer's. It's always pertinent that you go by the manufacturer's directions. Right now I'm going to be using the barbicide. So the directions for the barbicide would be, you're going to mix 2 ounces of barbicide and 32 ounces of water. So right here we have our water. It's 32 ounces of water. We already have it to the top. And oh, hold on, Johnny. I know you have a question. Just wait 1 second. I'm going to tell you how to mix up this and how we're going to know exactly what 2 ounces is when we're using barbicide, okay? So how am I going to know? Let's go ahead and, what do you think? What do you think? Tell me what you think, how we're going to figure out what 2 ounces of barbicide is. How are we going to know what the ratios are, right? Because you always want to make sure you follow the manufacturer's directions. So how we're going to do that is, you're right. That is right, Michelle. We're going to use the top of our barbicide. That is going to equal the 2 ounces that we need to mix in. And you always want to make sure that you measure everything the correct way so that it has the correct strength, because you want to make sure that you are cleaning all those germs and everything that you're supposed to. If you use too much water, then it's not going to do what it's supposed to do. That's why you always want to make sure that you read the manufacturer's directions to make sure that you are cleaning all those pathogens that were on those tools and making sure that it is disinfected correctly. Now I like to kind of put my top on there, swoosh it around a little bit, and then you're going to be ready to drop your tools in there. Now, always make sure that before you put your tools in there, they have to be cleaned and rinsed off and before putting your tools in there. So now that we have our barbicide, we had 32 ounces of barbicide of water, and we're going to add 2 ounces of barbicide to make sure that everything is clean and disinfected. But before, I want to make sure that my implements are nice and clean, like I said before, and I'm going to drop them down in there, and then I'm going to pour this barbicide in there and make sure that your implements are all covered up with barbicide and they have to stay in there for the 10 minutes, just like barbicide says on the manufacturer's directions. That's very important that you follow those rules, because if for any reason you have more water than you have disinfectant in there, then it's not going to clean everything. It's not going to do what it's supposed to do. It's not going to sterilize and disinfect the way that it should. So we have our barbicide. We have it already ready for our implements. Now we're going to clean our hands, because we did just do all that. We're going to make sure that we keep our hands nice and clean. Is everybody paying attention? I hope everybody's paying attention, because there is a test after this. So let's get ready to go ahead and get Miss Michelle. What are we going to do when Miss Michelle comes in here? What's the first thing that we're going to do? That's right, Sarah. We are going to do a consultation, because we can't move forward without the consultation. We don't just want to work on everybody, because everybody's skin is different. Everybody has different things going on with their skin, and everybody's lifestyle is different. So we want to make sure that we do a consultation so that we know what areas we need to target and exactly what it is that they want their skin to look like once they leave from here, okay? So this right here is Miss Michelle. Hi, Miss Michelle, how are you? Very well. I am very well, Miss Michelle. Very nice to meet you. Could you tell me some of the problems that you're having today? Like, what is some things that you're expecting us to make your skin look like or do? Okay, so you have a little hyperpigmentation. All right, a little hyperpigmentation. You said it's a little rough, so you want it to be a little smoother and you want that tone to be. So you are here to get, what we can do is we can do an exfoliation for you. Will that be okay? Do you have any allergies or anything, Miss Michelle? Are you sensitive to anything? Do you have any, do you break out easily? Is there anything else that you, no ma'am. So Miss Michelle says she does not, okay? Are y'all listening to what Miss Michelle says? Miss Michelle says that she doesn't have any allergies. Her skin is not very sensitive. She just wants to be radiant, and she wants to glow, and she wants to just be beautiful. So what we're going to do, Miss Michelle, is we're going to enhance that beauty, okay? Because you're already beautiful. So what we're going to do is we're going to enhance what you already have, all right? So when I say that, I've already went out there. Always make sure that you're going to make sure that your hands are nice and clean, because you're going to be dealing with people's faces, and we already have natural oils, and the last thing that we want to do is put more oils onto somebody else's face, okay? So we're going to go ahead and clean all this up, sanitize our hands, get ready to exfoliate with Miss Michelle. We're going to get everything out. You're definitely going to need gloves with this exfoliant, and then you're going to need some cotton rounds to use to kind of get that exfoliant off of Miss Michelle. Another thing that I actually, so right about now, those implements that I had cleaned, what we're going to do is, because it's been 10 minutes, okay, and we don't want to leave it in there longer than what it's supposed to. So we're going to go ahead, take our implements out of the nice and clean water that we just made, the disinfectant water. And what we want to do is what we want to do is we want to always make sure that we have tongs. We want to make sure that we have tongs to get our implements out, because what is the main thing that we do not want to do once we have made that nice, clean, fresh water for the day, and we're going to, well, for a while, and we're going to put our implements in it? What's something that we don't want to do? Tommy, because you're not paying attention. What's going on? Right. So the last thing that we want to do is contaminate that nice, clean barbicide water that we're going to put our implements in. So we're going to have to use a tong. So we're going to use this tong, and we're going to take our implements out. And then what we're going to do is, usually I would have a paper towel or something to put our implements on, because we don't want to store our implements away wet, because that could cause other issues. That could cause all kinds of things, molds, and that water sitting on them could cause all types of things. So the reason that we want to use this and then put it out on a paper towel or a nice clean towel is so that they can dry And then once they're dry, we're gonna pick them up with our tongs again, and we're going to place them in a nice, this has disinfectant implements, meaning they're ready to go, they're clean, they are not contaminated at all. So we're gonna go ahead and put this back up. We're gonna put that back in our multi-use. We're gonna sanitize our hands, okay? And then we always wanna make sure that we put the top back on our implements and the top back on our barbicides, so that, why are we doing that, Amber? Correct, because we don't want those outside germs getting in there, and we don't want to have to make new fresh water, and we don't want to have to, we don't want our implements contaminated after we've already cleaned them. So now that we've done all of that, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get Miss Michelle together, and we are going to exfoliate. My hands are nice and clean. I'm going to go ahead and put my gloves on to get Miss Michelle ready to rock and roll, because she doesn't have that much time and she's spicy. Miss Michelle knows what she wants. We're gonna give her what she wants, and we're gonna get her the heck up out of here, okay? Well, get these gloves on. All right, so. We're gonna tie Miss Michelle's hair up and make sure that her hair and everything is out of the way, okay? Are you ready, Miss Michelle? Yes, she says yes, she doesn't have long, so we need to go ahead and get this started. So we're going to exfoliate. We're going to put a little bit of this, a tad bit of this goes a long way. You don't need much, but this water right here is what you're going to have to add to the exfoliant to kind of emulsify it and together. Going to do our exfoliation. With Miss Michelle. Miss Michelle, are you okay? All right. You always want to make sure that you get in those creases, girls, because those creases, especially in that T-zone, that's where a lot of hyperpigmentation and everything can be. And you can have some breakouts through here also. So you want to make sure that she's nice and even. If you need to add more water, you can, because sometimes this stuff can get a little thick. All right, Miss Michelle, how are you feeling? Are you feeling all right? Okay, so, sorry about that. You always want to make sure that you put the top back on all of your products, because we want to make sure that that outside environment does not affect your products and everything, okay? So, there we have it. Miss Michelle has been exfoliated. She's done with that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a couple of, some drops of water onto a couple of pads. And then we're going to slowly take this off of Miss Michelle. We're gonna get rid of this in our single-use container. We're gonna go ahead and take these gloves off. We're gonna sanitize our hands again before we touch her, because we just took those gloves off, and we just wanna make sure that before we touch our client that our hands are still nice and clean. Her skin is a little bit wet, so what we wanna do is we wanna make sure that it's nice and dry before she walks out of here, and before we put that moisturizer and everything on her. So we're just gonna make sure that she is nice and clean, or nice and dry, and we get most of that stuff off of her. We're gonna get rid of that. This is garbage. All right, Miss Michelle, that concludes your service today. How are you feeling? I hope everything's okay. I hope that you were satisfied with everything. Did you want to rebook for maybe in 2 weeks you can come in and get your facial, another facial? Because we have to keep, we're gonna have to come up with some type of a plan to make sure that that hyperpigmentation goes away, and then we can keep enhancing that beauty of yours. All right, thank you, Miss Michelle. You have a wonderful day, and I look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks. And ladies and gentlemen, that's exactly how you do your client. Always make sure that you do your consultation in the beginning and make sure that you try to rebook before they leave. You always want to make sure that you have some type of a plan because she can't come one time and then the hyperpigmentation is going to be gone away. There has to be some type of routine that you're going to have to get set with her so that you all can work on the problematic areas that she is having. All right, that's the end of class. So I hope, do you have any questions? Sarah? John? Amber? Okay, no questions. All right. So that concludes our class for today. I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow.
Topic area 4 is end of day cleanup. This evaluation is end of day cleanup. 10 minutes will be provided to clean up your classroom. The proctor will announce when there are 5 minutes left to finish. When you complete your task, please stand quietly. Begin your classroom cleanup. Timing begins now. This concludes the PSI National Classroom Facilitator Test. Please clear your work area of all the items you brought into the room. Make certain your floor is clear of hair and debris and wipe your workstation with disinfectant. When you are finished, please raise your hand and wait for the proctor to sign off your work area. You will receive your score report within 5 days. We'd like to thank you for coming in today and best wishes in your exciting new career. Have a great day. You're excused.